For today's video, I'm going to show you how to download, install, and configure GNS3 on a Windows 10 computer so you can connect your network devices to the internet. As you can see right here, I got Windows version, Mac version, and Linux. This is the requirement for installation on a Windows box. You need 4 GB of memory for a Windows 10 computer. Let's take a look at my system. It's a gaming computer. You don't need a gaming computer, obviously, but mine is just an overkill, 32 GB of memory and a very cool CPU with 6 cores. So I have no problem running GNS3, even though it's not my favorite. My favorite is EvenG, which in my opinion is way cooler than GNS3, but it's not for everybody. I understand it. You need Linux skills. Let's talk about GNS3. So you're going to download it. It needs an account to be able to download GNS3. I'm going to save it on my drive and go through the installation wizard, which isn't really a big deal. You just need basic knowledge and then understand a little bit of how to click on next. And again, that's not a big deal. So once the download is finished, I'm going to resume the recording and show you guys how to install it. Here's the file, just have to click on it. You need admin rights, obviously. And like I said, click, accept the terms and licenses, bunch of questions. And here we go. The installation is underway. Here goes nothing. WinPCAP driver needs to be installed, which you have to install it. Click on next, and load it on startup. Leave it checked. This one goes well. Nmap, I do not use it on Windows. I don't know what's the capability of Nmap on Windows. I always use it on Linux, but let's just install it. And in here it asks you to install Wireshark. I don't see any harm installing it, even though you have the option to install it yourself. Just click OK. And finally, it gives you a package which is called SolarWind. Not sure, Solar Putty. Not sure how good or bad it is. I don't have any experience with this one, but I normally don't like free stuff, so I'm gonna say no to that. And then I'm gonna click on finish and start GNS3. Browser opens up for no reason, I don't know why. Close it, and in here it gives you 3 options. And in here you got the option to run the appliance on a virtual machine. Not sure what's the benefit. Run it locally. That's what I'm familiar with. I use it. I don't have any problem like I showed you earlier in the video. I have enough resources, so I'm going to select this one. An advanced one running on a remote server, again, it's too complex. So the one in the middle should really serve the purpose. I have no reason to go with the advanced version, and it's enough for the audience of this video. So just run it locally, pick the one in the middle, and then click on next. Apparently I clicked twice on this one. When it comes to Windows environment, I'm a bit of an elephant in a wedding. I get confused and panicked, and I might step on things where I shouldn't. Let's just click on finish and then close the other instance and cancel that one. So our GNS3 is almost ready. I'm going to close the extra one with so much difficulty. And then this is the GNS3 environment. So a lot has changed. Let's go and create our project. I'm going to create a new one right from the start. I'm going to call this one GNS3 Loopback, since we are going to add a Loopback interface and communicate with our routers over GNS3. As you can see, I don't have any image, which I will need to go under the settings. And then in here, I'm gonna drag the image that I have, a 7K router, pretty old, I know. And in here, I'm gonna add an existing image, platform and chassis. The memory, leave it as default. The slots, you can add different modules. Yes, they are for free. And then click on next. And in here, it's very important that you click on this button, find idle PC value, which is gonna find the niche spot of the CPU and adjust the settings of GNS3 so you don't run into high utilization. Let's go create our loopback interface in Windows and go into hardware wizard. I'm gonna add a loopback interface so GNS3 can communicate with the real world or our computer using a virtual network card. Okay, as you can see, the value has been calculated. Let's just continue with this one. I'm gonna select Microsoft and then Microsoft Loopback interface. Click on Finish. Okay, this one is apparently also finished. Let's go to our device manager to check what kind of hardware has been added. These are the network cards that I have, and this one is of importance to us. Let's go to the control panel. KM test is the name of the network card. So in here, as you can see, it's KM test. I'm gonna assign an IP address. So I'm gonna give this one 10.10.10/C subnet mask /24 subnet mask, and rename this one so that we don't mistake it with another network card. I'm gonna call this one Loopback, and let's close it. So our idle PC value is finished, so we don't run into high CPU utilization. This is very important, especially if your system is a bit old. Let's just create a new project, drag my router into the center, and then I'm gonna add a cloud and go into the settings of the cloud. Click on configure, and I don't see my loopback adapter listed. Let's matter of fact close GNS3 and open it again. Gonna save this project. Project's already open. Let's just close it. We are not gonna lose much. So I'm gonna close this one, open it again. So let's just open it. I just want to make sure I don't open two instances. Let's take a look. I have only one of them running, I guess. So let's open my project, go into the project that I just created. My devices are here. So let's go into the settings. I still don't see it. Show special Ethernet adapters. There we go. That's my loopback. So you need to make sure that this one is checked. And I'm gonna remove the extra ones that are here without checking that checkbox. Apparently loopback interface doesn't show up. I'm gonna remove this one, remove the other one, click on that and add the loopback. So these are the two interfaces that we are gonna need and keep in the settings of the cloud setting. I'm gonna attach it to my router. And to fix this error message, open command prompt with admin privilege, stop the npf driver and start it again. So let's do that. Opening command prompt with admin. Right, and then you have to type in here net. First, let's remove this one. Net stop npf and then start it again. Okay, now let's add our network card to the cloud. And if this is the first time you're booting the router, make sure you monitor the CPU utilization just to make sure you don't run into high CPU utilization. And then after that, I'm gonna try to ping 10.10.10.10 to make sure I have the correct IP assigned. And then I'm gonna try to ping the router IP, which I haven't set it yet, that's fine. Let's go to the router console, into it. Well, this is something new for me. So this is Solar Putty. I'm gonna change the preference. Matter of fact, this is too much for me. I'm gonna set the default console to good old Putty. Yeah, the deprecated version. And then I'm gonna close this one, console to it again, console, and open and get into the box. I'm gonna show IP interface brief. Nothing is assigned. Fair enough. I'm gonna go assign an IP address to it. IP address 10.10.10.10. Sorry, 10.10.10.1. Fat finger problem. So again, no shut. And let's take a look at my command prompt. There we go. We get the response, so we can successfully ping the router from our computer. Let's configure SSH on this host. I'm gonna set it to IP domain name, set it to whatever local, and then crypto key generate RSA. It's going to generate the value, going to set the username and privilege 15 obviously for myself, and I'm the king in this kingdom, so I'm going to set the secret line btvi 0 to 15. I'm going to set the login to local so I can authenticate, and let's save the configuration. I'm going to open putty, try to SSH into the router just for fun, just for the sake of showing you guys that everything is working just fine. We need to enable SSH version 2. So let's enable IP SSH version 2. This is a very old one. So this time around, I'm gonna select a bigger modulus key, 1024. And then I'm gonna restart the session. As you can see, accept the key, and then you're able to log into your box basically with the username and password. So we've successfully connected to our router over SSH using our loopback adapter. Okay, and as a bonus, I'm going to show you guys how to connect this router to the internet for your topology. So let's close the console, and yeah, no harm pinging this one. I'm gonna stop the router, go into the settings of the cloud, and then this time I want to connect to the Ethernet interface, which is my LAN card. So I'm gonna connect it this time around to my LAN card and then start the router again. As you can see, I lost ping to the router. So let's start it and wait for the router to boot up. We will have to obviously change the configuration. I'm not gonna go with NAT or anything else. It's just routing the traffic to the outside. This is my loopback interface, and this is my LAN address on the network card. I'm gonna grab this one, go into the router, and then change the network interface IP address. Let's just wait for this to show up. Okay, I'm gonna go into the same interface, show IP interface brief, still the old IP address. Let's remove the IP address and then assign the new one. Copy and paste, my favorite. So let's set 50. I know 50 is not taken by anybody. I'm gonna assign a slash 24 subnet mask, and then gonna do no shutdown and try to ping the computer address which I have set on the interface. I don't see a response. No panic. It's just a Windows firewall. I believe I have this Ethernet interface already set and added. Gonna try to ping the default gateway of my LAN network, which works fine. I'm gonna add a static route to the default gateway, basically the router on my network, the physical one. And I can sure enough ping the internet. So basically my router can get to the internet as if it's just another device on my LAN. Obviously it's behind the NAT, but it works just fine. Okay, so if you follow these steps that I did, you're able to connect your GNS3 to your local computer, to your LAN network, and experiment with it. Do various things, copying image into it or connecting it to a server. Sky's your limit. So that's how you can do it. If you do not have access to physical gear, that's the best way to practice and get prepared for exam or self-learning. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video has been useful. Your feedback is appreciated. And as always, peace out.